Hello everyone, how are you doing? Today we will watch a short retelling of the film, 47 Meters Down. Two sisters, Lisa and Kate, are vacationing in Mexico. Lisa broke up with her boyfriend and Kate, wanting to wake up her sister, pulls her out to a disco, where they meet two local guys who persuade them to try an unusual entertainment, to dive into a cage with great white sharks. Kate is experienced in diving and willingly picks up the idea, and Lisa doubts, because she has never dived, but under pressure from her sister, agrees to the adventure. The next morning, they meet at an agreed place, where the guys are waiting for their friend, Captain Taylor, who organizes similar, apparently, illegal rides. The captain's boat turns out to be a battered small fishing vessel, and an iron cage covered with rust. Seeing this, Lisa wants to give up the idea, but Kate, being already excited, persuades her to stay. The captain's mate pours a bucket of blood and pieces of fish into the sea, luring sharks in this way. Soon the sharks appear, and the guys dive first. Everything goes well, and the girls start diving. The cage sinks to a shallow depth, about 3 to 4 meters. The sisters are happy to see the sea fish swimming nearby. While waiting for the sharks to appear, they start taking pictures. Suddenly the camera slips out of Lisa's hands and falls into the depths, from which a shark suddenly appears and swallows it. Two huge sharks start circling around the cage, and the cage suddenly twitches. Lisa, in a panic, asks the captain to lift them up, because the cage began to move, but the captain assures that it was just a little twitch of the cable in the winch. Lisa insists on getting them out anyway. The girls are lifted up, and when the guys are about to open the bolt of the cage, the cable breaks and the cage rapidly falls down. It freezes abruptly at the 33-meter mark when the length of the cable ends, but at the same second it continues to fall, because from a sharp jerk the crane itself breaks out of the boat and falls to the bottom after the cage. The girls are unconscious for some time due to a sharp pressure drop. The first one wakes up, Kate, and brings her sister to consciousness, who is already beginning to choke on the blood filling her mask. They are trying in vain to get a signal to contact Captain Taylor. And then Kate suggests that she will rise slightly above the cage and there is a possibility that higher to the surface, a signal will appear, but the cage door cannot be opened, it is crushed by a crane that has fallen on it. Kate decides to remove the balloon and mask, which do not fit, and get out through the bars in this way. Everything goes well, and she also manages to throw the crane off the roof of the cage. She climbs up, and at a depth of 40 meters, she manages to catch a connection and talk to the captain. Taylor asks about the state of oxygen and the depth at which they are. He asks her to return to the cage and save oxygen, and informs her that his assistant Javier will soon come down to them, with a cable from a spare winch. The girl descends to her sister in the cage, handing her a conversation with the captain. While waiting, the sisters hear a sound similar to the sound of a boat engine starting. Fearing that the boat is sailing away and they will be left here alone, Kate gets out of the cage again and swims up, trying to catch a connection with Taylor, who is no longer responding. Suddenly a shark appears. She chases after Kate, who manages to get back into the cage. Then the shark attacks the cage and tries to break the bars. At the same time, one of the rods cracks. But the shark has already given up, and is swimming away. Soon the sisters notice a light located at a distance of 10 to 20 meters from them. They understand that it must be Javier, but for some reason he does not see them, although there are burning lanterns attached to the cage. Oxygen is running out. Lisa has enough for half an hour, and Kate has only a few minutes. Then Lisa, having gathered her courage, offers to swim to Javier and bring him with a rope. After swimming a few meters away from the cage, Lisa barely manages to hide between the rocks from the shark attacking her. After waiting a little, she continues to swim towards Javier's lantern and suddenly realizes that she has swum to the edge of a bottomless gorge, on the other side of which a lantern is visible. Overcoming her fear, Lisa still swims to the lantern, but Javier himself is not there. After coping with a panic attack, she tries to find her way back. Suddenly Javier appears on her way, who is immediately attacked by a shark. Lisa removes the rope from her body and swims towards her sister's voice. After attaching the rope to the cage, Lisa climbs up, informs Taylor that the rope is tied, and Javier is dead, and returns to the cage. Taylor starts lifting the cage, but at about 30 meters depth, the cable snaps, and the cage flies down again, crushing Lisa's leg when falling. Kate leaves Lisa alone in the cage and, with the remnants of oxygen, urgently rises up and informs the captain what happened and that the oxygen is about to run out. Captain Taylor promises to throw them oxygen cylinders, warning them that nitrogen anesthesia and hallucinations may soon begin. He also reports that he has contacted the Coast Guard, and they should send a special group working at great depths, but this will not happen before an hour. Taylor drops 2 balloons and signal candles that fall near the cage. Kate manages to swim to the cylinders and replace her oxygen with a new one and returns with a second cylinder, but near the cage, a shark overtakes her and drags her into the darkness. The balloon remains lying next to the cage, but Lisa, because of the crushed leg, cannot get it in any way. She manages to reach the harpoon and pull it towards her, but the harpoon wounds her palm. With the help of a harpoon, Lisa manages to drag an oxygen cylinder to her and manage to replace it. Kate soon gets in touch. She says she is alive, but seriously injured, and the oxygen cable is damaged by a shark. Lisa, making every effort, pulls her leg out from under the cage and swims to her sister. Swimming up to Kate, Lisa sees a large bloody cloud around her sister. Realizing that she won't last until the Coast Guard arrives, Lisa grabs Kate and asks her to light a warning candle to scare away the sharks. They begin to climb up together. Taylor is in touch and asks the sisters to rise more slowly, because if nitrogen bubbles get into the brain, they will die instantly. At a depth of 20 meters, Taylor asks them to make a decompression stop for 5 minutes to remove nitrogen from the body. Taylor does a countdown, but the girl's first signal candle goes out. The second one slips out of the hands of a weakened Kate. When they light the last, third candle, they are horrified to see 3 sharks around them. Spinning on the spot, they manage to scare away the sharks, and Taylor orders the sisters to swim up urgently. The girls remove the balloons, which fall into the depths, briefly distracting the attention of the sharks. They float to the surface, but the boat is far away, and the captain only has time to throw a lifeline on the cable. At this moment, the shark grabs Lisa and tears her leg, but Lisa manages to surface. The sisters grab onto the circle, and Taylor pulls them to the boat. The guys try to pull the girls by the hands, but at this moment the shark comes up, grabs Lisa again and drags her away. Lisa starts scratching the shark and squeezes out her eye. The wounded shark uncouples its mouth, and Lisa emerges. The guys pull the sisters out of the water, and begin to stop their blood. Kate loses consciousness, and Lisa begins to hallucinate. Taylor shouts to her that she is starting nitrogen anesthesia. At this moment, it turns out that Lisa is still sitting at the bottom of the ocean, with her leg pinned down by the cage. She looks at the blood streaming from her wounded palm, but still thinks that they are saved. Taylor's voice repeats that she has started nitrogen anesthesia and that the Coast Guard has already arrived. Out of the darkness, the light of the lanterns of the rescuers who descended appears, and Lisa comes to her senses and realizes where she is and that Kate died. Lisa, accompanied by rescuers armed with harpoons, rises to the surface. That's how this movie ends. Thank you for watching. If you liked the retelling, put likes and subscribe. soon there will be a lot of videos on the channel. See you later.